Happy New Year from American RVer. We thought we'd start off 2012 telling you a little bit about Jim and me and how we got into RVing, and then we thought we'd just give a recap of 2011 and tell you what you've already seen.
And you could probably tell that Peg's voice is a little on the shaky side here. We've both been under the weather for the last 3 weeks or so, and we're actually videotaping this on New Year's Eve day. So yeah, we're cutting it kind of close, but we figured we'd sit out here in sunny northern Texas, where it's in the 60s and beautiful today, and tell you a little bit about us, as Peg said, and about some of the places we've been to, and maybe you'd be interested in going there as well.
As you know, we've done this show for about, is it 5 years, Jim, or 6 years now?
Over 5 years.
Over 5 years. And we started, actually, before we went full-time RVing. We started full-time RVing in September of 2007. And I still remember when we took our first trip, and it was like day 6. And it was really more like we were on vacation for the first 6 months, and then we kind of settled into the routine of being full-time RVers.
Yeah, it takes a while sometimes to figure that all out when you first start full-timing, and I'm sure for you people that are new to full-time RVing, you have the same feeling that you're on vacation at first, but after 2-3 months go by, you kind of figure out, we're not on vacation, we're living like this, and this is our lifestyle now. So. And
we spent 2.5 years just roaming the countryside, and boy, we've been to some beautiful places, and some of those we've shared with you on American RVer. But one of our favorite places is, Jim?
Well, there's a bunch of different ones. Indio, California is a favorite place. And while in Indio, we met up with a bunch of our friends that we met through RVing, as a matter of fact. And went from there over to Quartzsite, Arizona. Now, you know, in January, it's very appropriate, Quartzsite has their big tent goings on over there, their big RV and boat and camping sale that they do, and people come from all over the place for 2, 3, 4 weeks. They camp out in the desert and they have a really good time. And so we would always get together with a bunch of our friends, put the wagons in a circle, as they say, get all the RVs together, put a big bonfire together, and hang out for a week or two in Quartzsite. And that was always fun, and that would be every January. So a lot of our friends, for you friends that are watching that are going out there
right now.
All right, yeah. Quartzsite right now. You know, how you doing? Hope you're having a good time. Wish we were there.
So one of our other favorite places, believe it or not, is Death Valley. And that's a national park in California. It's real close to the Nevada border, so we were staying in Pahrump at the time. Had a couple of friends with us, and we took a day trip over into Death Valley. And I tell you, it sounds like it's going to be nothing but desert and dirt. And it was quite spectacular.
A lot of colors. The artist's palette over there has a lot of colors, and then we actually took a GPS with us. Friends of ours went with us, Rod and Gene, and we were in the back seat, and he held up the GPS, and it said like 274 feet below sea level, which was kind of interesting.
That was really weird, actually.
Yeah.
But it was dry. We weren't underwater. The other thing we saw there, we went to another, I think it might have been a national forest instead of the national park. It was Ash Meadows, and it's right outside of Death Valley. And we saw that the water coming up out of the ground was really, really warm. And if you've been to Desert Hot Springs and some of the other places out west, you know about the warm water. But that was really our first experience with it. And it was so cool.
Very clear, crystal clear, blue. And it's a wildlife refuge. So it was a real pretty place. They have an actual walkway that goes through that you can walk, not quite a mile, I don't believe it is, but it was a really neat experience. And one of the places that really stuck in my mind, just because of the color of the water and the fish that live there. And
yeah, they're called pupfish. They're only about this big, and they only have fins on one side. Because the way the current is, when they're in there, they don't need it. On the other side, they just swim with one fin. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But really cool. Really interesting.
Another place that we went that we enjoyed, and I'm sure a lot of people have been there, Las Vegas. We checked out Las Vegas, went to a lot of the gambling places there, of course, but then we went to Fremont Street, which was a real experience in the evening, where they light up the ceiling and put video up there and graphics of all kinds, and it was a pretty neat thing to see, something that goes on for blocks, actually, not just a little section.
You're watching Viva Vision. I'm Viva. Think a 42-inch screen is big? I'm the size of more than 12,000 of those little things. I am the biggest big screen on the planet. I also have over 500 speakers and 550,000 watts of power.
That was a lot of fun, and also in Vegas I went online and I found free things to do in Las Vegas. So we got to see the MGM Lions and of course the flamingos, and Caesar's Palace has an amazing back part with the sky. Actually it looks like sky, it's inside, but you'd swear you're outside. Really amazing things to do in Las Vegas. Never a dull moment, that's for sure.
And all the statues and everything that were there.
Yeah, it was really great.
Then we saw the fountains over there as well.
Oh, the Bellagio, yeah, that was really great.
Yep, set to music.
Definitely a place to go to if you've never been.
Yep, so make a point of going out that way.
But I tell you, one of our favorite RV parks was actually in the Florida Keys at Blue Water Key. And the lush foliage and the flowers, you felt like you're in your own little oasis there.
Yep, and when we went, it was several years ago, we had I think it was a, what was it?
We had a little Winnebago Brave, right?
No, a Winnebago Warrior.
Oh, a Warrior. Yeah, it was our very first RV.
And it was a little square box, and we drove down there, and there were people there with 40-footers. This was only a 24-foot unit, so it was kind of interesting to pull in there and have so much room around you and have a little, like a hut that had a little bar in it and everything.
Tiki hut, had a refrigerator, stove, all of that.
Very cool. Yeah, that was one of our first experiences out on the road with an RV before we actually went full-time RVing.
Yeah, one of the other places we went to, and I know a lot of people are staying in country now because they feel like it's not safe enough to go south of the border. But a couple of years ago, we went to Quino Bay, Mexico, and it's about 250 miles south, south of Arizona. And it's right on the Sea of Cortez. And it's, Jim, tell about the drive going to this resort.
Yeah, it was an interesting drive, that's for sure. If there was road construction going down in through Mexico before we got to the resort, they would actually pull you off to the side of the road, basically in the ditch, and run you through the ditch and then back up on the road. So it wasn't like here in the States where they actually build an ulterior road for you. You were in a dirt ditch going around the construction.
Here we are with our 40-foot Camelot driving in the ditch. It was a little nerve-wracking.
Yep, and then when we got to Quino Bay, there was a 12-mile drive, and that 12-mile drive was on dirt road, rock, and in the middle of nowhere, basically. And you had to go about 7 miles an hour. So it took us a couple hours to get over to the resort itself. And we went up over small boulders and things like that as we were driving through. It was an interesting trip, that is for sure. But once we got there, it was a really nice resort.
Great people.
A lot of nice people. We overlooked, as Peg said, the Sea of Cortez. And you could go and get clamming. Yeah, Peg went and did some clamming over there, and we had a really good time. Met a lot of nice folks, and love to go back there at some point, someday, when things calm down a little bit in Mexico. But you hear mixed reviews about Mexico. Some people say there's not a problem. Some people say there is a problem, but mainly if there is a problem, it's going to be along the border towns. So once you get past the border towns, people are really nice, and they really look forward to tourists coming down there.
Now in the summertime, of course, you want to head north, and for us, it was a real treat to go to the Northwest because we hadn't really been there before. So we went to places like Leavenworth, Washington. You've probably heard of that because that's a big German-style town, and they're really well known for the Bavarian buildings, the exteriors of the buildings, and everybody dresses in the German garb. And it was a lot of fun going there one day.
If you like bratwurst, that's the place to go.
Right. But also in that area is, of course, Glacier National Park. And this country has so many national parks, and I don't know that we'll ever get to see them all. But boy, going to Glacier was a real treat. And on the way up, we actually took the car up to Glacier and stayed in a hotel just to save a little fuel mileage. But we went past Flathead Lake, and that's where the Flathead cherries are grown. And boy, I'm a big cherry lover, and it was such a treat going at that time of the year because they were all in full season. That, and we learned about huckleberries, and we'd never had huckleberries before, and those were really great too. So we bought huckleberry jam, and you know, huckleberry pie, everything you could think huckleberry.
Yep, and of course the water up there is, again, very blue, crystal clear, real beautiful place to go if you haven't gone up there to Glacier. And near Glacier is Yellowstone Park,
right,
which is another place that we had gone. And of course, Yellowstone has Old Faithful, and there's mud pots there that bubble out of the ground. You got to stop and think about it when you're there, and you're standing on this ground that this hot mud pot the mud is warm and it's bubbling out. You got to think, now what happens if, like a sci-fi thing, if that whole thing exploded? Well, go see it before it does, folks. That's all I got to say.
It was a real treat. We're so glad we got to go, and wish we could have spent a little bit more time, as we feel like with every place.
Right.
People say, oh, did you see this when you were at Glacier? Oh, no, we missed that. Okay, we got to go back sometime.
Yeah. But
one of our other favorite destinations was Crater Lake, Oregon. Now that's a lake that was, of course, a mile deep, or a mile before you get to the lake surface, and then the lake itself is very deep. And so you see this brilliant indigo blue color. And we stayed there. We met some people from Wilmington, North Carolina,
near where we used to live, actually.
Which is right. And that was pretty cool. And then we met some other folks, and we're all just standing around, just looking at the water. And there were some clouds that day, and so as the cloud cover changed with the sun, the color of the water changed, and it was really spectacular. Got to be one of my favorite places, Jim.
It even had a little bit of snow up there, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, it did. And yes, we took our car up there because there's a rim road. No, don't take your RV up there. That would not be good.
No. Kind of tough to drive with an RV, but we did see a couple RVs up there, but they were smaller RVs, not big 40 or 45 footers. So. But
there is a campground nearby, so if you take your RV, camp in the campground, then take your car up along the rim.
Right. So before that, one of the other trips that we took, when we first went full-time RVing, actually it was our first trip, we went up to Nova Scotia, up in Canada, BC, and it was pretty nice up there. We saw a lot of different things. We saw Peg's Lighthouse, as a matter of fact, is one of the things up there.
Peggy's Cove.
Peggy's Cove in Brunswick. And it was really a cool place to go. And the roads were much better than we thought. We thought the roads would be kind of, bad actually, but the roads are excellent up in Canada.
And I would tell you, it's way bigger than you imagine. You see it on the map, and it's this little thing right here up at the end of Maine. Oh no, it's huge. We thought we could stay in one place and do day trips and see the whole island, if you will. No, doesn't work that way.
Well, that's a great place to go up to if you want to get out of the country and see some things in Canada. Like the Canadians come down here every year. We should go up there and check some of that area out, because it's really quite spectacular.
We got some great blueberry wine there. It was really a lot of fun.
Yep. So now, over the summer, we'll tell you a little bit about that, then we're going to take a short break. But over the summer, of course, we were working for MCD Innovations at this point, so we go to different rallies and events and set up their booth and sell their products. And we had a couple of rallies up that way, an FMCA rally and a couple pre-rallies that we went to. That's a pre-rally is basically when a motorhome company manufacturer will put together a rally in conjunction with the Family Motor Coach Association, and so you go to that rally first. People will then a lot of times caravan from there to the FMCA rally, or convention I should say. So we went up to Wisconsin, we went up to Michigan. I really like the Sleeping Bear Dunes up in Michigan.
That's another national, what is it, national forest, national park, national seashore is what it is.
Yeah. Right. And we went up to Traverse City, which was also very cool. Pretty big area, actually, a lot to do. There was a film festival going on at the time we were there, so that was kind of neat. And we stayed up there at Indigo Bluffs.
Indigo Bluffs.
And
that was near Empire, Michigan.
Right, and we did an interview, as a matter of fact, with the owner up there. And so it was a good time. We had a good time up there.
Boy, Michigan is beautiful. It's like a throwback to the 50s. All these little farms and farm stands, and it felt very old-fashioned and rustic, and like I say, kind of a throwback to the 50s and 60s, I think. And family values is what I got from it.
We got some great sunset pictures, as a matter of fact, of that area from the top of the dunes. and it was a really nice area to be in, especially since down here in northern Texas it was 115 degrees, and up there it was like 80 degrees and low humidity. Perfect weather.
We were so glad we were there.
It was really nice. And so one other area that you might want to check out would be South Dakota. Technically, we're residents of South Dakota, and we got Rapid City there. There's the Crazy Horse, the statue that they're building up there. They're not finished with it yet, but they're carving it out, and it's very impressive. And of course, Sturgis, the motorcycle rally, is there, and
Mount Rushmore, don't forget Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore as well, yep. And Custer State Park, I believe, is there as well.
Yeah, and if you want to see buffalo, boy, you can drive through Custer State Park, and they have all kinds of buffalo. Just drive slowly, and remember, they have the right of way.
That's right, and I was a little concerned because I'm a motorcyclist, and there were some motorcycles actually behind us, and they were open, and the buffalo were roaming all around right there, and I was getting a little concerned that, you know, you never know if an animal, they're wild, so they could charge at some point, but they never did. Everything was very cool, and they were right out there amongst the, the plains and the buffaloes, and they were having a good old time.
Yeah,
so.
But now that we've been spending some time in Texas, boy, there are a lot of great places in Texas to come and visit too. San Antonio, Corpus Christi we've been to. We haven't been to Galveston yet. That's on our agenda to go maybe this spring.
Right.
But even northern Texas, and western Texas, there's even the Grand Canyon of Texas and some other great state parks in the state.
Right. So, hey, there's a lot to see out there. So if you're starting your RVing full-time, or if you just want some trips planned for here or there, hopefully we give you some suggestions on where to go and see some real interesting things. So with that, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this.
RVers, listen up. Have you been wanting a new TV satellite system or that new Motosat internet uplink equipment? Cordell Sales and Service, based in Charlotte, North Carolina, is the premier satellite systems installer and repair center for the Southeast. Our mobile technicians do make house calls and will repair or install on site. Call Cordell at 704-264-9486 or email mohotogo@cs.com. Connecting customers to satellites since 1995 with sales, parts, and service.
And welcome back to American RVer. We're here talking about our past, our travels, our RVing life, if you will. And we wanted to highlight some of the things that we did on American RVer. Now, we've never done this before on the January edition of the show. So we just thought it'd be kind of interesting to look back a little bit. And if you hear something that you like, you can always go back into our archives, which are all on AmericanRVer.com, and check out some of these things that we're going to be talking about. And we're going to just quickly go through some things. Mainly, some of the things that we really enjoy are talking with people, RVers, fellow RVers, on our Friends Across America segment. So we have talked to a lot of interesting people this year.
Jeff and Suzanne Ashlock, they were two hams in a can. They're actors, and they told us about doing, they were extras, but they're not called extras anymore. On a movie set where you would be a character actor, maybe back in the background actor, maybe it's called. And they were a lot of fun, and they've done a lot of acting in their lives, and so we got to meet them, and they started out in an Airstream and now have a Ford Travel, I believe.
Yeah, yep. So they've been enjoying their life on the road as well. We met a couple of folks that we became friends with, Pat and Jan Gross, and they are actually vendors. We see them when we're out and about at shows and rallies and things like that, and they have RV products that can clean and make your coach nice and shiny. And
okay, ours doesn't always look nice and shiny, but
no.
I give them a lot of credit because their coach and their car is always perfect.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and so
and then we've also met Joanne and Leanne and Mark Quashis, and he has an RV website, RV Cruiser, and he's got lots of great information on his website about a couple of different kinds of RVs and just RV maintenance and all kinds of things. You might want to check that out sometime.
And then other vendors we've met. Janet and Dwayne Tranum, they have, let me see, microfiber, Almost Heaven Microfiber Company, and they sell everything microfiber. It's just amazing, all the products that they have.
If you want to clean your RV, It's a lot of opportunity for you there.
Now, these are all people that we've interviewed throughout the year, so if you want to check out the interviews, you can go back into our archives and check it out.
Now, Don and Kim Green were really great people that we met, and they are the owners of Harvest Hosts. And Harvest Hosts is a way for you to kind of get back to nature and support our farmers and support our people who are in the agricultural business. And they've set up a program where you can stay at these farms or places overnight free of charge. Of course, you probably wouldn't have any hookups or anything, but it's a really great program. It's harvesthosts.com.
Yep, and then we also talked with Bill and Goldie Clifford, and they represent Traverse Bay RV Resort. We were talking about Traverse Bay, Michigan earlier, and it's a beautiful place up there. You check that out as well. And some other folks that we talked to, Dave Katsuki, and that's not how you say his name though. Katsky, right? Dave Katsky and his spouse, Nancy Elkins. Really, really nice people. As a matter of fact, I had some problems with my RV, and Dave and I fixed them, which took us a whole day to do it, but we tore some things apart. We appreciate it. Yep.
And then, of course, we don't want to forget Rick and Joanne Stone. They're dear friends of ours, and we've known them for several years. They're fellow Monaco people.
Right.
And Joanne just passed away in December. God bless her. We're so sorry to have lost her. And Rick, our thoughts go out to you.
Yep. And who else? Let me see.
Glenn and Sharon Wilkinson.
Right.
They told us some very unique work camping ideas, so we've enjoyed that. We've seen them a couple of times. And as we said before, we work for MCD Innovations now, and I got to tell you, one of the best things we did in our coach was actually put in the MCD shades. They are awesome. You know, the day shades help block the heat coming in those hot summers, and also keep some of the cold out in the wintertime. And then you've got both day and night shades, and it's a super roller shade mechanism. If you're having trouble with your pleated blind, sounds like an ad, I know. Think about MCD shades.
Yep, that's true, and they work well, that's for sure. So let me see, is there anyone else we want to mention here?
Well, Ron and Sandy Jones, you know, we've met several times, and they're both authors, and Ron introduced us to the lithium-ion batteries that are now available for RVs. That's something you might want to consider. They're pricey, but apparently they last for years and years and years, unlike the lead acid.
And they're very lightweight too, which is a real plus, because Sandy, she's not a real big person. She can actually lift up the biggest battery and hold it up.
So think about all that weight coming out of your RV. That means you can put more stuff in your basement.
Yeah, there you go. And we even interviewed Rob Lowe this year. No, not that Rob Lowe. It's Rob Lowe that has the RV fuse switch. If you have a car that you have to pull your fuses all the time, this plugs into where the fuses go, and it's an actual switch, so you don't have to pull your fuses all the time. So that was a great product.
You know, we could probably go on and on and on, but you don't want to sit here and listen to us all day, so I think we'll wrap it up, Jim.
Yep.
And we wish you a great 2012, a healthy and prosperous new year. And I just wish you, safe and happy traveling.
And make sure you watch us on American RVer. We're going to be around for the next year, of course, and we've got a lot of interesting things planned. So go to AmericanRVer.com and check it out. Till the next time, take care.
For all your satellite TV and internet needs, call Cordell Satellite Sales and Service at 704-264-9486.